Hey there, it's your boy Foxy, back for more relationship stories. Update: I kicked out my little sister out of my home because she's been trying to seduce my husband. Original post: my 30 female, sister 20 female, has started college in the city my husband, 28 male, and I live in. There's a housing shortage here and getting your own place may take 2 to 3 years sometimes, so she moved in with us. We live in a 4-bedroom apartment. She moved in last week in November. Everything was great at first, but later I started noticing that she's very affectionate with my husband. When he works from home, she is home that day, making him sandwiches, coffee, and other things. She never uses the shower in her room because she says it's too small. Instead, she uses bigger one in the hall so she can walk around in a towel, sometimes going into the kitchen to make tea when my husband is tidying up after dinner. She stands there in the towel chit-chatting. It feels so weird and perverted, to be honest. I mean, she's my baby sister. I thought maybe I'm overreacting because I seem to be the only one noticing anything weird. I have spoken to my mom about it, but she says it's in my head because my husband loves me and my sister loves me, and I'm just feeling insecure because I'm pregnant and have gained weight. I'm having a difficult pregnancy, so yesterday I took a day off and stayed in bed. My husband was working from home, but my sister didn't know I was home. She came home from the gym and she had bought lunch with her. She called for my husband to join her, and I heard her loudly saying, "I bet you wish you had a wife who took care of you like this." I went to the kitchen and she was in her sports bra and very small tight shorts. She was like, "Oh, I didn't know you're here," and she took her lunch and went to her room. I don't know what to do about this situation. I have mentioned this once to her about her walking around in a towel, but she laughed it off saying that I was imagining things because I'm insecure. If I kicked her out, it would mean that she can't continue with her studies this year because my parents live 5 hours away. I'm not worried about my husband, but I think what she's doing is disrespectful. And for it to continue for 1, maybe 2 years, is honestly exhausting. What is wrong with her? She used to be my baby girl. Now for the top advice before reading the update. She must have said other inappropriate things when you weren't around. Has your husband said anything about her behavior? Agreed. This cannot be the first time. And if so, why hasn't he mentioned this? There was a similar story on here a while back. In that story, the best friend of the husband's little sister was flirting with the OP's husband. That OP didn't dare to say something, because hubby always babied or defended sis. Later came out that hubby didn't say anything, because due to overworking he first didn't notice, then after, didn't want to unnecessarily worry his also at the time pregnant wife. One simple talk later, they found out they are on the same page. However, the husband started that talk because he became too uncomfortable. That's what those young and attractive girls often don't understand. The decent guys don't enjoy the attention. They do choose their, pregnant or not, old wives. OP, here's my advice. Talk to your husband. He might be as uncomfortable as you. Furthermore, your sister might not believe your jealous words, but coming from your husband, it will have an impact. Sure, she will believe that it's you speaking through him because of the aforementioned point, but you have to be a united front, especially with a baby on the way. And if your sister loses housing for a year, well, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. She should think of consequences before angering off the people providing her with a roof over her head. I was prepared to say this could just be paranoia until I read the "didn't know you were home" incident. That was as clear a come on as can be. Out she goes. Yep, agreed. As soon as she's starting chatting about that you wish you had a wife like this stuff, she gone. I'm curious what the husband's response to a comment like that was. And unless this is the first time she's been so verbally overt, why on earth is telling his wife not his reaction to her sister saying something like this? What your sister is doing is beyond disrespectful and gross. She's literally trying to take your man when you open the doors of your home to her. I would sit her down and straight out ask her what is going on with her. If she tries to blow you off, tell her again very seriously, and in a stern voice that you want to talk to her and you know exactly what she's doing. Tell her it makes you and your husband uncomfortable. Don't be scared to make her a little uncomfortable and throw all the weird and disrespectful things she's been doing in her face. She has to acknowledge first that she's being inappropriate. If that doesn't work, have both your husband and you talk to her. Either way, she needs to get it through her head that it isn't okay. Husband needs to be loud and vocal about his displeasure in having little sis walk around in a towel or leave every time she tries to engage in conversation with him. He needs to start treating her like a bother as well. If not, she's just going to keep viewing it as encouragement or a challenge. Something in your baby sister's head switched and made her view you as competition. If she keeps acting that way, kick her out. Why live with someone that is actively trying to sabotage you? That's no sister. Now for the update. Since my mother and sister dismissed me, I talked to my husband. Thank you for suggesting that. He told me that he has noticed my sister acting weird around him. He was, however, very uncomfortable talking to me about it, since it was my idea that she should live with us. I might think he's making things up to kick my sister out. He said the days he's been working from home, she's been almost always home, walking around in her underwear or tiny gym wearing. He asked her on a number of occasions to put some more clothes on. She laughed and asked if he's not used to being around confident women. She also always talked me down in front of him and commented things like my bad posture or my old age, or I wonder if she will be able to lose her baby weight. I was appalled. What the heck is wrong with my sister? I have never had problems with her, and I always took care of her growing up. So I decided that she must leave. I have been trying to find a place for her in the city, and I know one of my colleagues' grandmother rents rooms for students. She lives near campus, so it would be perfect for her. I didn't want to break the news myself to her, because by now I know what she would say, that I am so jealous and threatened by her. So I asked my husband to talk to her. Apparently, she broke down crying, asking him if I put him up to this. He told her that this was his apartment as much as it's mine, and he's not comfortable having her around. He told her about the new arrangement we've made, but if she didn't like it, she was welcome to find a place on her own or move back home. She's getting until the end of the month. Today she was so angry with me. She told me that if my husband really loved me, I wouldn't have felt so threatened by her. She was also mad because now she'll have to pay rent and live in a smaller room. I don't know. I feel sorry for her, but I'm honestly shocked at how callous she is. When did this happen? Only yesterday she was my baby who waited for me to come home on holidays to try my new clothes and makeup. Now she's shut in her room, only speaking to me to call me pathetic and insecure. I'm so miserable right now. It needed to be done. She was inappropriate and taking advantage of the situation. Parading around scantily dressed and making comments against you to your husband caused this, not you or hubby. She can cry all she wants, she brought this on herself. Don't let her talk to you like that. Remind her it is your home and your husband. You tried to help her out and she crossed a line trying to seduce your husband. He wasn't interested and she needs to move. You are not jealous or insecure. She is a witch thinking what she did is okay. She has grown into a person no one will want in their home. Her actions demand a response and she got hers. Good for you and hubby. I think it's really worth drilling into her that the husband is fully on board with all of this. He's not attracted to her physically or emotionally. She's not tempting anyone, she's just embarrassing herself. Maybe that'll be the kick in the pants she needs. It was cute when she wanted to try on your clothing and wear your makeup. Now she wants to put on your life and wear it like a skin suit. Don't feel bad for her. She needs to grow up and find her own identity. Yeah, I saw the line about wanting to try on OP's clothes and makeup and was wondering, maybe she's always looked up to OP and wanted to be like her, and now it's crossed into a territory where she's literally trying to become OP. Maybe she sees OP's husband as OP's possession, something for her to try on whenever she sees fit, just like the clothes and makeup. I don't know, sis is too used to sharing, but this isn't a sister-wives situation. Well done for presenting a united front and doing what needed to be done. She's lucky to be getting till the end of the month with the way she's behaving and has behaved. I would have sent her home until she could move. Her education is not your problem, and if she missed uni for 3 weeks, so be it. Better than calling you pathetic whilst living in your home, for free. She sounds completely unhinged, and I'd be worried she might make false claims against your husband, or you. She doesn't seem above getting petty revenge. You should really reconsider having her in your home. She's not the baby sister you knew and loved. If you're determined to house her, I would impose strict house rules. No going into your husband's office. No parading around in clothing that makes you and your husband uncomfortable. No mean ugly comments. And if she breaks the rules, you can have your mother lock her up. Now for the last story. My fiance's sister is overstepping boundaries and it makes me uncomfortable. Plus update. Original post. My female 24 fiance's male 25 sister female 22 is overstepping boundaries with my fiance. We are due to get married in a few months, and in the past I noticed she was too close to my fiance. But now that our wedding is around the corner, it has ramped up. Here are some examples where I feel like she's acting strange and overstepped boundaries. 1. She stays over at my fiance's place and stays over extra nights, knowing that we have plans and he has work. 2. When we visit her, they are glued together. They solely sit with each other while I am sat opposite them. It's like I'm third-wheeling a date. And my fiancé ignores me the whole time. He only talks to her. I just feel so uncomfortable. I always take pictures of them together like I'm a photographer. She's constantly touching him too. 3. My fiancé drinks alcohol responsibly, and when his sister found out about him drinking, she was incredibly upset and demanded that he has to tell her every time he drinks. I found this incredibly odd. He's a grown man and he drinks occasionally. He doesn't need to answer to anyone about this. 4. The final straw was today. My fiance got a text from her, and the notification came up on his laptop as we were watching Netflix, and it said, "I've been thinking about you all day." A second notification came up saying, "We should plan a little weekend getaway, and I can't wait to see you." I'm close to all my siblings, but I would never text my brothers, "I've been thinking about you all day." I don't know if this is normal or strange. My fiance found it a little weird too, and said he's going to keep an eye on it and the things she says. I'm not sure if it's all in my head, but how do I go about approaching the situation? Any advice is appreciated. Now for the top advice before reading the update. Are you sure they are related? Yep, same mom and dad. They look very similar too. You need to set some boundaries pronto. Tell the partner he needs to let her know to give him space, so you and he can enjoy the occasion and life together afterwards. But it's not just weird things. It seems like she's oddly attached to him way more than you're comfortable with. You shouldn't feel like a third wheel. Yep, I'm starting to think I should be more assertive and sit with him before she does. Touch him like she does, and watch how she reacts. Is she gonna flip her lid because I sit next to my fiance? Handful of curiosities here. 1. What is their or sister's relationship with their dad? Has he held a parentified role in her life? 2. Do either of them think this is a normal relationship based on their culture? 3. I'd explore the alcohol piece more. If their father is an alcoholic, this might be a linchpin piece for the sister who may have some past trauma related to their father's addiction. None of these are excuses, nor is this behavior appropriate or normal, but curiosity and a genuine attempt to understand might get you more movement with your fiancé if you are interested in addressing what the root might be. If you're not, and you want to get the heck out, do so. I have been trying to end a very similar marriage, and it's cost me over 5 figures and counting. 1. Their dad is awful. He comes home drunk and swears or shouts at her, he intimidates her and more. He is rude to my fiancé too, and they have a very bad relationship with him. But he is the man of the house and they still respect him, even though my fiancé has moved out and is completely financially independent. 2. They both think this is totally normal. Until today, when I told my fiancé those messages were freaking strange, and he admitted it was a little weird and he would keep an eye out if she said anything else. I asked if she said weird things like this before, and he said no. I don't know if I believe that. 3. Possibly, but if she was worried about his drinking, why not explain that and offer some advice on how to drink responsibly as he already does? Why demand to know every time he has a drink? In regards to 3, some people will never engage in self-awareness that would require them to take accountability for their actions or thoughts. If they were raised by an alcoholic, chances are this is what was modeled for both of them daily. I'm a recovering alcoholic, almost 3 years sober. My ex-husband has this type of relationship with his sister. She was in her teens when we met, so I wasn't able to pick up on the depth of the codependency amongst a myriad of other unhealthy trauma bonds. There's always a root. They probably either don't realize it or aren't willing to address it. If you think your fiancé is interested and willing to do the work, fabulous. Alcoholic Anonymous might be a place to start. The impacts of being raised by an alcoholic are devastating. It was what got me sober. I saw what it was doing to my kids, and it's one thing to screw up my life. It's a whole other thing to mess up your kids. Good luck. And now for the update. So, I did not expect so many replies on that post. Thank you all for the great advice. I spoke to my fiancé today, but before I did, when he went out to grab some food, I went on his laptop and onto WhatsApp web and took pictures of his conversation with his sister. I know this is wrong, but just in case, I wanted evidence and see if there was anything weird before I confronted him, so he couldn't delete later. There was other odd stuff like, "It's me and you against the world," but nothing too intimate. When he returned, I sat him down and said that I needed to discuss something serious that was making me uncomfortable, and he replied, "It's my sister, isn't it?" And I said yes. I think he knew this was on my mind since I saw the text yesterday. I explained every point that is making me concerned. I listed them all, and there was even stuff I didn't put in the previous post that is highly questionable. He listened and admitted it was strange and that she has overstepped boundaries. I explained that if he doesn't set boundaries and put me first, I will leave. I don't want to, but I won't have a choice. He asked, "You don't think anything intimate is going on, do you?" I hesitated and he got pretty mad. He told me if I really thought that, I can pack my stuff and leave. I would like to point out, I actually do not think anything like that is happening. I just think she idolizes her big brother and maybe has a small crush, and it is causing her to overstep boundaries, and my fiancé just isn't putting a stop to her behavior to not upset her. I know she struggles with anxiety and is getting help, and he is not the confronting type. He handed me his phone and told me to check the messages myself. I didn't need to check because I already did when he went food shopping, and I realized that although their messages are very close, her way more than him, there is nothing too intimate whatsoever. So I believe him there. That being said, my points were valid and I told him the boundaries I want set. For one, no more sleepovers. He agreed to this. I also said if she says anything weird, I want to know about it, and I want him to shut her down and tell her that's not okay. He said if this happens, he is willing to distance himself from her and will put me first. When she returns to the UK, him and I are going to see her together, and I'd like to do the visits together for now. I got what I wanted. Although he has allowed a lot of her behavior, I know she hasn't had it easy. With her dad being an alcoholic, her anxiety, she has self-esteem issues and so on. I truly believe my fiancé just didn't want to rock the boat and isolate her further, so tried to focus on her as much as possible, and in the process ignored me. This is not okay, so I've told him those boundaries need to be set, or he knows I'm gone. Thank you all for the help.